It's where everybody comes to play, and you either sink or swim.
The Mavericks are sinking under the intense pressure of the Kings, allowing an average of 100 points a game. Chris Webber has been dominant down low, and Page's hot shooting continues.
Some point at the end of a very crucial game, you have to make a stop.
In Game 2, Dallas's defense failed again, and the Kings took a commanding 2-0 series lead. Tonight, the Mavs come home where they were a league-best 36-5. Can they stay afloat in Dallas? And later, the Nuggets host the Timberwolves in their first home playoff game in 10 years.
It's a time where everybody comes together, and you're supposed to come together as a team, and this is when everybody brings out their best game.
Minnesota has done just that. In Game 1, Sam Cassell dropped 40 on the Nuggets. In Game 2, it was Kevin Garnett who posted a triple-double to put the Wolves up 2-0.
The playoffs are different because every game actually counts.
Tonight, Minnesota looks to move one step closer to snapping their NBA record 7 straight opening round playoff losses. Can Melo and the Nuggets slow them down? We start our day in Dallas, where the league's best home team tries to fight their way back into the series. Sacramento and Dallas right now. Brad Nessler, take it away from American Airlines Center.
All right, Kevin, thank you. And it is an ignited crowd. Over 19,000 on hand, and they are ready for the Bud Light starting lineups. Let's give it to them. Here's how it looks for the Kings and the Mavericks. Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac up front for Sacramento. For Dallas, Michael Finley, Dirk Nowitzki, Antoine Walker. And the backcourts look like this. Mike Bibby and Doug Christie, who's played sensationally in the first 2 games. Steve Nash and the rookie Marquise Daniels man the backcourt for Don Nelson. Bibby is the question mark. He and Steve Nash with a hug there, and now it turns to business. And we'll probably know in the first 3 or 4 minutes just how healthy Mike Bibby is, because you know Steve Nash is going to find out.
Oh, you know, he got wind of Mike Bibby's injury, so expect Dallas to test him early on. To Steve Nash, the fearless one that he is going to go at him.
The higher-seeded teams, 1 through 4, are 19-3 so far in this year's playoffs. But as Kevin said and we talked about earlier, Dallas, the best in the business at home. They're going to have to lean on that heavy tonight. Here we go. Vlade in the low block. Antoine Walker gives away a lot of size, and it's Vlade's hook. And the rebound is Walker. And Antoine's in double figures in both the previous games already in rebounding.
Well, we saw what Coach Adelman said he'd do. He's going to go into Vlade early, and Chris Webber try to slow down the game.
And Nash quickly. Walker gets a rebound on one end and the slam on the other. Bibby had a momentary opening. Now it's Christie for 3, and Nash with the rebound.
That's
looking to run.
Sacramento's trying to be patient on offense. They don't want to come down and quick shot the ball, because then you have the Mavericks running right back at you.
The rookie Daniels way short on a 3. And it's out of bounds to Sacramento.
That's when your adrenaline works against you. You're just tired on that shot, even though it's the opening minute. See Steve Nash doing a fantastic job drawing that double team. Beautiful bounce pass to Antoine Walker.
Here's Webber's first touch, and he'll take it over Nowitzki. Rebound is Daniels.
Mavericks will probably live with Chris Webber about 12 feet along the baseline with a contested shot.
Nash with his opener.
And that's exactly what Dallas wants to do. Get the ball off the boards, go down and take the first best shot. They want to get this crowd into it, and it's good to see Nash get off early. He struggled in this series so far.
Here's Bibby's first shot, and Nash with the rebound.
And they want to get the Kings going up and down the floor. The Kings aren't nearly as deep with all the injuries.
Nash through traffic, almost threw it away. Walker puts it on the floor, the drive, and the rebound will be Daniels. Nowitzki for 3. Got it!
And that's another thing that Dallas does so well is they offensive rebound. The best offensive rebounding team in the league, and that often leads to wide open threes.
A 7-0 opening for the Mavericks. Sacramento still looking for its first basket. And now they'll have their turnover instead.
I mean, you're talking about trying to slow the basketball down. If you're the Sacramento Kings, there's no way that you can allow the Dallas Mavericks to continually beat you up on the offensive glass.
Well, they've had 40 offensive rebounds in 2 games. I mean, that's just an astounding number.
Nash, the dish to Daniels. Now Walker for a triple. And he got his own rebound.
Again.
Finley, who's had a tough series so far. Weber comes out to meet Nash, and Steve goes right by him with a left hand. The follow is good by Walker. What a start for Dallas.
Well, if this pace keeps up, they're going to have 40 offensive rebounds just tonight. I mean, that's what this team does. They shoot it quick, and they go get it.
And even though Chris Webber is having a great series so far, did you see his mobility on defense that time? Nash went right by him.
Stojakovic lights it up for 3, the opening basket for Sacramento. And that momentarily quiets the crowd.
Well, they need a big game out of Stojakovic tonight, especially with Bibby hurt and the rest of the team kind of down. Stojakovic is a guy who can get hot and hold your team in it.
Finley takes it inside, and he's fouled. Going to be on Vlade Divac, his first. Rick Adelman concerned about exactly how this game has started.
Well, I'd be concerned, too, because he doesn't have the bodies to continually throw out there on the floor. And if the Mavericks suck the Kings into their style of play, forget about it.
Michael Finley's first trip to the free throw line in the playoffs.
Isn't it ironic how the Kings are trying to... So watch Chris Webber there. I mean, he's unable to move. Steve Nash goes right by him, and you wonder why the Dallas Mavericks are such an efficient offensive rebounding team, because they keep you out of position. They're constantly getting inside the lane, and the defense is out of position.
Finley knocks down 2 free throws. Here's Bobby Jackson, who will miss the rest of the playoffs, and he'll be sorely missed by Sacramento. He is instant offense and a spark off the bench that most teams don't have. At least not one as good as him. Here's another Sacramento turnover. Walker, Nowitzki, and Finley run together. Finley with a hook. Got it.
Well, needless to say, this is not Sacramento's pace. And during the regular season, when they have enough bodies, they'll gladly run with you, but not right now.
Nobody home on the rebound except Finley and Nowitzki, as Bibby misses from the outside. Finley just inside the three-point line. Sacramento has only 1 rebound. Dallas has 9. Bibby around Nash. Nice move by Bibby, and he looked good there.
Yes, he did.
Good penetration there by Bibby. He actually looked healthy on that play, but you can tell defensively he's not able to slide his feet and move as well as he used to.
Nash was looking for a foul, didn't get it. Here's the outlet to Bibby. He goes around and under Finley.
He's still clever with the basketball, though. I didn't think he was going to be able to finish that play when it was he and Finley in the open court. I thought Finley, with that athletic ability, would somehow get to that shot.
Finley, you might notice, he's got ball in hand right now. He's got a sleeve on his right calf. That's a strain that's been bothering him. Weber fouls Dirk Nowitzki.
There's so many bodies that are banged up on this court right now. Talk about Finley with that sleeve on his calf. We asked Don Nelson before the game if he was healthy or not. He didn't play particularly well in the first 2 games of this series, but we saw him out here before the game running and shooting, and he looked fine. Yeah.
He was out here much earlier than anybody else, getting as many threes as he could take. Nowitzki at the free throw line. Don Nelson, this is only the 3,062nd game that he's been involved in as either a coach, player, or general manager, or all of the above.
He's a smart guy. We walked into his office and said, well, what do we got to do? And he said, well, we got to shoot better.
And we got to defend better. Now
defend
you guys get out of here.
Get out of here. We'll see you later. All right.
And now Antoine Walker is going to be called for a foul. The ball had barely made it to the front court when that whistle was blown, as he was working against Chris Webber.
Yeah, I agree with Antoine here. He has a little bit of a beef. This is the playoffs.
Webber had a tough catch, a tougher shot trying to go over Walker. Or they're setting the high picks out there on Bibby, and that'll take a toll on your hip too. Nash somehow got through the traffic, and it's Finley in the lane.
Great play by Finley. You're struggling with your shot. Instead of settling for a 3, attacks the basket and gets a puck.
Love that athletic ability of Michael Finley, like you said, with that in-between game.
Matching its biggest lead, Dallas up by 10. Lottie, the bounce pass to Bibby. And he got the roll. So Bibby's got 6 points here in the first quarter.
He's looking good.
Coming off a 24-point game in the 83-79 win earlier this week. And I mentioned when we were out on the court in the open playoff game last year, that was a halftime score between these two teams. Finley short on that one. And it comes free to Walker off the glass. Too hard.
Well, Sacramento's got to do a much better job of boxing out because this offensive rebounds are just killing Sacramento. Dallas getting too many shots at the basket.
Lottie this time against Nowitzki and draws a foul.
Finley's been aggressive early on here.
Mike had only 9 points in the first game, only 10 in the second game of this series. But scoring there, he's got 6 already.
Not one to pass up an open look.
Nice baseline cut by Stojakovic, and he's fouled by Steve Nash. Steve Nash and Mike Bibby both off to good starts. Nash mostly as an assist man and the floor leader that he is. And Bibby's got 6 points on the other side to lead Sacramento in scoring. 5:57 remaining first quarter. And here's what the point guards have done so far. Feed their big men or do it themselves. Just under 6 remaining first quarter, and it's Dallas leading 17-9. Now the first 2 games were at Arco, and Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, and the Kings outgunned and frustrated the Mavericks for the first 2 in the best of 7. But now the action's right here in Big D, where the Mavericks had the NBA's best home record of 36-5, and so far they put it to good use tonight. In the opening minutes, they lead 17-9.
Just Sampras and Agassi, that's all it is. Sacramento held their serve at home. Now it's the other guy's turn. Dallas, the best home team in the league. They certainly come out and got their fans in this game.
You know, the Mavericks in the last 4 years have averaged almost 56 wins. Sacramento has averaged almost 58 wins in the regular season. Neither team has advanced to the finals. A rebounding story. It's all Mavericks so far.
They're just so aggressive right now. They're getting the ball up and down the floor. They're getting in the right people's hands. They're penetrating. They're keeping that Sacramento defense off balance. And they have plenty of white jerseys to crash the offensive glass.
I like to see Sacramento try to get Peja involved. He hit his first shot. He's a go-to guy in this team. He's got to get there and get plenty of looks today.
Here's Bibby with a long jumper and got it just inside the line.
Or just let Bibby pull up from 3 or shoot it.
Bibby with 8 on a bad hip.
That works.
That works.
But you're right about Peja. Averaging 25 in the regular season, 20 in the playoffs. Not getting nearly as many shots as he did during the regular season. He's got to be a go-to guy.
And Daniels, the rookie, drives, and all 5 of the Maverick starters are in the scoreboard. Webber backing in on Walker, and the second time he's been too strong with that jump hook. He might try it again. He does, and that time he got it.
Doug Christie made that play, snuck in, got the offense tipped back to Chris Webber, who laid it in. And Christie we haven't talked about him too much, but he is having a solid series, both defensively and on the offensive end. He's averaged 17 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 7 assists. So he's really been the most solid guy on that team.
Not just the playoffs, but the last month of the season, he's been a superhero for this team.
Walker with a 3. Nope, it's just inside the line, and he missed it. Bibby trying to battle for that loose ball, and Finley goes to the floor for it. Still loose, and Nowitzki's got it. Great hustle by everybody. Nowitzki baseline, yes.
And that's what a good player do. Finley not having a great shooting series, but there you see the hustle, gets the ball, throws it out to Nowitzki, and gets him another basket.
I thought Chris Webber could have just picked that ball up. He dove on it. Looked like he dove on it a little early. Maybe that's because he doesn't have the same mobility.
Here he is on a pick and roll inside, and he's fouled by Nowitzki. That's 2 on Dirk, but he got the loose ball on the other end after everybody went for it.
There it is. I mean, that ball was waist high to Chris Webber, and he still dove at it. It's not the same type of mobility, but you can see the hustle and the effort right now that the Dallas Mavericks are putting out.
So Dirk got the 2 offensively, but he's got the 2 fouls as well. There's his numbers. He's done his job. carrying his weight, if you want to call Dallas the big three of Nash, Finley, and Nowitzki.
And I got to correct myself here. Peja Stojakovic was averaging 25 a game before Chris Webber came back. Now he was averaging 20 points a game after C-Webb got back, so he's deferred a little bit of his scoring responsibility to Chris Webber. Mike Bibby, he's got to continue to be the man like he was the first half of the season.
He still ended up the #2 scorer in the league. Webber has always played well against the Mavericks. Free throw shooting not his strong suit, but he got the second. 3 points for Chris. Log on to NBA.com and play Virtual GM Postseason Edition. Pick your fantasy dream team and try to beat Bill Walton's score to be eligible for great prizes. Virtual GM Postseason Edition only on NBA.com. Daniels with a turnaround jumper. And it's tipped in, I think, by Jamison. He and Walker were both there.
So it's going to be a long night for Sacramento if they don't find some bodies and get them off the boards.
Antoine Jamison was just awarded the 6th man award, officially handed the trophy before the ball game here tonight by Stu Jackson of the NBA. And he got a huge ovation. Although he says 6-man thing, it's nice to win, but he'd rather win something by being a starter. Daniels has 4.
There you saw the rookie not being a rookie. He realized he had Bibby on him. He took his time, took him down the paint, and abused him.
I appreciate the talent by Marquise Daniels, but he had 2 guys wide open.
And now Steve Nash is going to be called for the 2nd foul on him, and he's not happy. And he'll get a short explanation, or maybe none at all. Here's another look.
Well, Kings like to play that little 2-man game. Chris Webber does a fantastic job, by the way, of using his body to allow Mike Bibby to rub Steve Nash off of him.
Bibby got away with a little shove, and then Nash, with the same type of treatment, was the guy that got called for the foul.
Well, that 2-man game, when you have great passing big men like Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, Brad Miller, is incredibly tough to defend. It's very simple. It's not like it's an intricate play. You just throw it into the big man and you're able to split off of him. You have a guy like Chris Webber who knows how to use his body as well. He gets you open a lot of the time.
Bibby has 10 points already. Here's the guy we talked about. Might be questionable with a hip flexor problem, and he's the leading scorer in the ballgame right now. Anthony Peeler in, so's Brad Miller off the Sacramento bench. Jamison lost it to Christie. He and Bibby come down together, and it's Bibby who lays it in.
There's Doug Christie again. If he's not doing it offensively, he's doing it on the defensive end. A guy who's been known for his defense, got his long arms, nice strength, great anticipation.
Cuts it to 7 with just under 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Daniels, Bibby on his hip, gets it out to Finley. Finley finds Walker. What a great feed.
Great pass there. Went up to the shot. Webber got a hand up. Delivered it to Walker for layup. Great play by Finley.
Nice balance by Dallas right now. Nowitzki with 7. Webber misses. Walker's got 6. Finley's got 6. Daniels with 4.
You can just see in Webber's game, he doesn't have the power or the explosiveness down there. He gets the ball with the back of the basket. He can't finish the move.
He dominated the first 2 games because he was passing the ball, getting everybody involved.
Daniels again backed Bibby in, but he missed the turnaround jumper.
But he's not going to be able to explode over people in the block area. Chris Webber.
Sacramento turns it over again. Nash by everybody, and he's hooked by Bibby. Bibby's first foul. He's arguing his case, but his case has been offensive in the first quarter. 12 points to lead all scorers. 2 minutes and change remaining. First quarter. Dallas still on top. They lead by 9.
Kevin Frazier and George Karl inside the studio. And Coach, your observations so far of this game?
I think Dallas right now has just gotten into the home court. They're a great home court team. There's energy there. There's juice there. They're scoring well. But Sacramento's hanging around. It's still going to be a long game.
How can you win at home and lose and play so badly on the road?
There's that inner confidence and belief and trust in each other. That's the home court. This is what you're seeing. You're seeing it in a lot of places right now.
All right, let's head back to Dallas and Brad Nessler. Brad?
All right, Kevin, thanks. And George, I tell you, if it wasn't for Mike Bibby, Sacramento would be in quite a hole. The rest of the team 2 for 10. Bibby is 5 out of 7. 27-18, Dallas with the lead. Mike Bibby, the leading scorer in the ball game, with a dozen.
And they got 16 of their 27 points in the paint, which tells me they're attacking the glass. They're not settling for jumpers, and they're being aggressive.
2 minutes remaining, first quarter. Finley got an open look and airballed it to the backside to Peeler. Christie waits for help. Weber from the elbow.
It's a nice ball fake. If he doesn't make a pass, got the defender up off his feet. Easy jump shot for Chris Weber.
Nash will take the jumper short and knew it was going to be. Tried to get his own rebound, but it comes off to Bibby. Bibby inside. Score it. And a foul.
Well, his hit must not be too bad because he's just going right to the glass. He's making shots. He's being aggressive. So great job by Mike Bibby earlier here in this game. You see him just sizing up Nash, crosses him over, takes it to the paint, and finishes strong.
The bad part for Dallas in that exchange is Steve Nash has got 3 fouls already in the first quarter. And he'll have to sit. So Josh Howard will come off the Mavericks bench, and Steve Nash will sit for who knows how long.
There's a nice strong move there by Mike Bibby, but now you see Josh Howard, a longer defender, will have his shot at Mike Bibby, a guy who can move his feet as well and is tenacious on the defensive end.
Bibby has hit Sacramento's last 6 shots.
And 2 rookies in there for a Don Nelson club in a crucial playoff game.
Yeah, highly unusual.
Doesn't have much choice with Nash in the foul trouble. Here's one of them. Daniels tried to throw it out and threw it away.
There's your rookie mistake. Old penetration.
Weber had to make a tough catch and threw it behind his back off Daniels. So it'll be Sacramento ball.
You see Christie trying to get that ball to Weber. This is last year. Weber's able to go up and grab that basketball and finish near the bucket.
Bibby's the main scoring option right now for Sacramento, and he'll try another. Josh Howard with a rebound.
No, we haven't seen a Brad Miller sighting in a long time. That's one guy who hasn't been.
Well, we just saw Jamison score over it.
That's one guy since Weber came back has kind of gotten lost in the mix. He's had some injuries. You see Weber running the floor there and laying it in, but this is an all-star center who's been a big part of this team all year long, and now we don't hear anything from him.
Well, it was playoff caliber, all-star caliber play from him earlier in the season, and then Rick Allen was telling all of us before the game, he said it all started when he turned his ankle. That was the first injury, as Nowitzki hits outside. And then for Miller, it became an elbow problem, and then a shoulder problem. And as Sean said earlier, he's all banged up right now and still trying to play in there.
He became a true king, because you're not a true Sacramento king until you've been injured and you've been out for a period of time.
Well, last year they had the second most games missed. Sacramento did 328 player games missed to injury, and they had the second lowest problem in that area 2 years ago when they only had 131 games missed.
That's really a shame, because these guys are a great team. You don't hear bickering, you don't hear griping coming out of Sacramento. These guys all play together. They don't care who gets the bulk of the minutes or the glory.
Sacramento has a foul to give. Daniels up over Bibby. In and out. Howard tried to follow it. Now Jamison, and he got it to go. Just before the end of the quarter, Antoine Jamison with his 6th point.
That's sticking a dagger right in your back. How many offensive rebounds did the Mavericks get on that possession alone? You get 2 here. There's Josh Howard. He gets it knocked away, but Antoine Jamison, the assassin, with that soft touch around the basket.
So Dallas starting 5 has scored. The 6th man of the year has 6 points, including that one right as time expired, and it's an 8-point lead to end the first quarter. It's Dallas out in front at home. Just about set to start the second quarter in Dallas, and the Mavericks lead the Kings 33-25. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern time, the Lakers and the Rockets game 4. Shaq and Yao and company. GMC NBA Hang Time tips things off at 3 o'clock Eastern with Mike Tirico. Sacramento will be going to China. Kings and the Rockets will be playing. You go back to 1978, the world champion Bullets, led by Alvin Hayes and Wes Unseld, traveled to China to play a couple of exhibition games against the Chinese national team. First visit to China for the NBA. There have been many trips to China since '78, but for the first time, two NBA teams will play against one another on China soil. The Kings and the Rockets meet on October 14th in Beijing and October 17th in Shanghai. Both games will be televised by ESPN. That'll be a long trip. Did you
see that big center for the Chinese team? Didn't he play in a James Bond movie or something like that? It certainly looked like it.
Del Harris, the assistant coach with the Dallas Mavericks, will be the Chinese national team's coach in the upcoming Olympic Games. Here's Michael Finley outside. And Brad Miller one-hands the rebound. There's Del. We said, you know, do you speak Chinese enough? And he said, you only need to know one thing. And I said, just say Peking roll instead of pick and roll. That'll be good enough. Sangala has his shot blocked by Jamison.
Good team defense there.
Dallas turns it right back over. Sangala's going to try it again. This time he'll draw a foul.
But then you had Josh Howard, who got that rebound and tried to make something happen, trying to dribble between 2 or 3 guys. That's a rookie mistake again. The rookie's turning the ball over a little bit too much here. And they'll learn from their mistakes, but this is where he's got to get rid of the basketball. Don't try to be a hero. Go through 2 or 3 guys.
So Darius Sangala, after being fouled, goes to the free throw line. Sangala in officially his first year out of Wake Forest, and he played for a Russia Super A-League team in Moscow last year. And he was on Lithuania's national team, winning the European gold, as we speak about international basketball. So Sangala off the bench gets his first 2 points and cuts the Dallas lead down to 6. Jamison puts one up over Miller, and Miller gets the rebound. Nice job by Daniels. He could have been in the NFL draft with a catch like that today.
Oh, that was spectacular. He just looking over his shoulder. Nice hands.
Miller would have went undrafted with a pass like that.
Finley, turnaround jumper, and he's short again. And Michael Finley really, his woes continue from the field in this playoff series. Let's check in with Michelle.
It's funny you should mention that, Brad. When I walked into the Dallas locker room tonight, Marquise Daniels was inside of his locker watching the NFL draft. The only reason he wanted to watch was to see if Carlos Dansby, his buddy from Auburn, was going to get drafted and where. Once he got drafted, that TV went off, and Marquise went back to his business, Brad.
Carlos, one of the fine linebackers in college football. Stojakovic over Jamison. And it's Finley who'll track down the rebound. Finley's 2 out of 7 from the floor. So his shooting continues to be not strong. Let's see how he does here. Nope.
Yeah, he's still in that slump. He's got to be more aggressive, just start taking the ball to the basket and make things happen. Obviously, his outside shot's not there.
Beeler, nice crossover dribble to get around Daniels, just left him in his wake.
Beeler's been a spark for the Sacramento Kings team. He's done a nice job shooting the ball from the perimeter. That time, taking the ball to the basket with some authority.
The lead, once 11, is down to 4. And it could dwindle further on this trip. Bibby, they leave a lane for him. He goes all the way and leaves it for Miller. Nobody cut off Bibby, and timeout time for Dallas. They had the big advantage. They had the crowd with them into it in the first quarter, and now Sacramento has come out firing here early in the second, and they've cut their Mavericks lead to 2.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Volvo. Volvo for life. And Dymo Label Writer. Eliminate the hassles of sheet labels. Dymo saves you time-o.
Kevin Frazier and George Carl in the studio. We recap the day's action. We start with the Heats and Hornets, and the guards were fabulous for the Hornets.
The guards in both games were fabulous. Baron Davis was an outstanding performance. And you also had David Wesley hitting big shots. And then in the second game, Billups and Hamilton came up with 28 points in the second half to take the Milwaukee Bucks out.
Big Ben also banged the boards as we take a look at our McDonald's NBA brackets. And the key here, the higher seeds, 19-3 overall in the NBA playoffs so far. Besides the basketball, though, also a big day in the NFL, right, Brad?
Boy, was it ever. And Boomer, the guys had a long day, and teams picked their future talent, and we got some talent here tonight. Troy Aikman knows a little about winning championships in the city of Dallas. And on the other side of the ball, Deion Sanders and family in the house. And today the Atlanta Falcons took D'Angelo Hall, who he and they hope will become the next Deion Sanders. Worldwide leader in sports tomorrow. All 4 major sports are on. We'll start with the NFL draft at 11 a.m. Pacers and Celtics game 4. Then we switch to the NHL for game 2 between the Canadiens and the Lightning. And then the Braves and the Marlins cap it off on Sunday Night Baseball tomorrow night. How's that for a day of sports? Pretty good, huh?
Sounds good to me. Hey, the Mavericks done a good job. I mean, the Sacramento's done a good job of limiting the Mavericks to 1 shot here, making them shoot outside jumpers, and actually getting out and getting some fast break points themselves.
And the Mavericks are 0 for 6 to open this quarter, while Sacramento, once they were down 11, they've been on a 17-8 run to cut it right back to 2. A chance to tie or lead this trip.
They've got this crowd kind of sitting on their hands right now, which is big for Sacramento, because when this crowd gets going, Dallas seems to pick it up.
Well, when you know that when Deion's not talking, that means everybody's quiet. Stojakovic ties it at 33.
Well, just like Dan says, Sacramento's done a nice job picking up their defense. It's 1 and done for the Mavericks this quarter.
Nowitzki short over Stojakovic, and Peja comes up with a loose ball. Sacramento has never led. And Sangala with a rebound. In and out. Out of bounds to Dallas.
You know, Dallas jumped out to that big lead, and then they just put it in cruise control. Their aggressiveness dropped just a little bit. Sacramento picked up their intensity on the defensive end and started rebounding the basketball.
It didn't help that this guy got his 3rd foul. It took away some of the aggressiveness of Steve Nash, who was attacking early.
Yeah, and they're not making shots. Earlier, their shots were falling. Like Sean said, they were aggressive taking the basket. Now Sacramento's doing a better job of keeping in front of them, making them take outside jumpers, and they're not making any.
Mavericks haven't had a field goal in almost 4 minutes. There's another offensive rebound, though. Howard airmails one to Peeler. Peeler can just stay on that weak side and keep picking up air balls.
It seems to me that Dallas they've forgotten what got them to this early lead.
Still, Sacramento can't take the lead. Sangala out on Steve Nash. Nowitzki will go to the free throw line.
Even there on that play, even though Nowitzki gets himself to the free throw line, there wasn't any type of ball movement, any type of body movement by the Dallas Mavericks. Last time down the floor, Antoine Walker did a nice job penetrating, but he had Antoine Jamison on the perimeter wide open. Instead, he took the shot. I've seen the same thing with Marquise Daniels.
There wasn't any body movement from Stojakovic either, because Nowitzki just turned and just went right to the basket. So, you know, Sacramento's got to do a better job. Right now, Dallas is cold. Don't let them penetrate. Make them shoot outside jumpers with a hand in the face. Make them make some shots.
Bibby sits down as Don Nelson looks on. Dirk Nowitzki is 15 out of 16 from the free throw line. Now 16 out of 17 in this playoff series. And he puts Dallas back in front by a deuce. That breaks an 8-0 run by Sacramento that almost saw them get the lead for the first time.
Well, he's been the one guy for the Dallas Mavericks that the Sacramento Kings just don't have an answer for.
Aren't a lot of teams that really do when he's on his game.
No, at 7 feet tall, Dirk Nowitzki goes outside, shoots it as well as anybody else out there on the floor. And then you put a little guy on him, he abuses him in the block.
There again, Doug Christie doing the little things. Even though that shot got blocked, he kept that alive for Sacramento. Nowitzki over Stojakovic.
Oh, what a shot.
Well, Dallas is really going to abuse that matchup. Stojakovic, there's no way he can guard Nowitzki, especially down the low post. Nowitzki too talented and too tall to be stopped down there.
So Dirk with 2 free throws, and then his field goal breaks a drought of almost 5 minutes for Dallas from the floor.
He shot this ball off the wrong leg. I mean, he's shooting that off the right leg, fading away.
He's wearing those high ankle brace things now, whatever you want to call them.
That was an Antoine Jamison jump shot off that opposite leg.
Dirk waits for everybody to pass and then almost knocked it down. Kings have now gone cold. They've missed their last 8 shots, and they had some shots in close. We're going to talk about it right now with 6:36 remaining in the first half. Vlade Divac lobbying the officials. I doubt it'll do him any good. Dallas by 4. During the timeout, these girls got it going on, or coming off, as it were. Our entertainment during the break, that got a standing ovation from 19,000 plus. Dallas in front, 37-33. Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Brad. Well, for 4 seasons, Antoine Jamison was a starter with Golden State, but tonight before the game, Stu Jackson, the Vice President of Basketball Operations, was here in the house to present Antoine Jamison with the NBA's 6-Man Award. And Jamison's parents, Kathy and Albert, made the trip all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina, to watch the celebration. Now, his parents told Jamison that back in Charlotte, his hometown, everyone in the barbershops and the restaurants are talking about Jamison and his accomplishments this season. All season long, Jamison spoke to his mom, Kathy, about how difficult it was to come off the bench. This week, when he won the award, he said, "Mama, it was all worth it."
Well, that's nice. He averaged 14 points a game in almost 15 points a game during the regular season. And as Michelle said, the last 3 years, he's averaged over 22 as an 82-game starter all 3 years with Golden State. Dallas turns it over again.
I don't know about you, Dan, but when those old ladies were out there dancing, I looked over at Brad, and his tongue was hanging out.
That's the most excited I've seen him.
He was mesmerized.
It takes a lot to get me excited. That was just right. See, I'm the old guy of this crew.
We had to wipe your brow. You were sweating, man.
I know. It's not easy hanging around with you young guys. 6 minutes left in the half. 5 on the shot clock. Weber against Jamison. Leaves it for Christie. And if that's on Steve Nash, it's 4.
That's a costly mistake.
And it is. Wow. That is really going to put a cramp in Dallas style.
Wow. He has a couple choice words there.
Probably a good thing the officials didn't quite lip read what we just lip read, or would that be a technical on top of it, probably. And Steve's a pretty level-headed guy. Usually doesn't get so heated.
He was out of position there, got knocked off the screen.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, that is not a foul you call to get somebody's 4th foul. That's not a foul.
Weber inside, takes Walker to the hole.
Just see Webb using his body, because you see when he comes out of that play, I mean, he's not trotting down the floor, struggling to get up and down.
Well, the Kings had gone over 3 minutes without a field goal before Weber breaks that. Here's Jamison outside. Walker right through everybody. And in Doug Christie's face.
Oh, face you very much. Kings were moving a little slow on that offensive rebound, and Antoine Walker did a nice job with tons of energy.
Weber does likewise on the other end.
You know, you got to give it to Chris Webber. The guy's obviously hurt. He's out there playing. I mean, you watch him on the defensive end. He can't elevate for rebounds. If he's moving one way, he's not going to be able to stop. And Walker went right around him. So you got to give it to him for being out there. But he is just not even close to being 100%.
He and Antoine Walker were having a great conversation as the ball came into the front court.
Yes, they were. They were verbally jabbing at each other.
Boy, you got that right. Nowitzki too short on a turnaround fadeaway. Chance to tie again for the Kings. Christie in against Nowitzki.
C-Web has the right to talk stuff. If he's playing out there on one leg, going baseline, reverse dunking on people.
See what he does against the rookie. Throws his shoulder and walks. Ed Nahara coming in for Dallas. And he had to play some tough defense against not only Chris Webber, but Vlade Divac. He's one of the guys that does some of the muscle work for Dallas. And Rick Adelman had said this week that the only reason he's in the lineup is to try to foul up Chris Webber. And you're going to see these two in the spot shadow now. And they'll go down together. Look like a clean play to me. And you guys and I talked about that. It looked like just a tough play for the ball. But Nahara says, I do the dirty work, but I'm not a dirty player.
Oh, I totally agree. I think the guy brings a lot of toughness to a team that's not very tough. So he hasn't made any dirty plays. He's in there playing very physical. He's not the biggest of guys, so he's got to get in there and muscle people. But I enjoy the way he plays.
So do I. You know, guys don't like people breathing in their face, up their nose, all over, and that's what Nahara does.
Finley knocks down the jumper. Dallas had a nice run in game 2 when Naharak came in. They went on a 13-3 run at Arco, even though they ended up losing that game. But he had 9 rebounds in that second game, as well as the tough defensive work. Weber asserting himself and scoring on the putback.
Those tremendous hands by Chris Weber.
Well, he got away for a push there on Nowitzki. He pushed him away and went and got his own offensive rebound, but good hustle by Chris Weber.
He's doing it however he can.
The intensity is picking up on both ends right now by both teams. Finley short again. Michael Finley still having a little trouble, but it's an offensive rebound, and it's Nowitzki for Dallas.
Another offensive rebound by Dallas. Naharak gets it and gets back out to Nowitzki, who hits open jump shot.
Crowd is back into it now, but so is Chris Weber. Man, he's playing like a man possessed. And while we have talked about his limitations physically, that he's not as explosive as he once was before that knee injury, you got to get the impression that Chris is out to shut everybody up, because his numbers, although he got tired in the second half of game 2, his numbers have been great in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, obviously he's a great competitor, but he's one of those guys in this league who has enough talent that he can go out there not healthy and still have great numbers.
Well, he's scored the last 8 points for Sacramento. A timeout.
Does a nice job cutting down the basket, and go ahead with your bad self, Chris Weber.
And earlier it was Antoine Walker in Doug Christie's grill. 2:35 remaining first half. It's picking up and coming down. 43-41 Dallas.
How?
There you go.
Welcome back to the 2004 NBA playoffs on ESPN.
Coming up in moments on the Toyota Halftime Show, we'll have draft news and recap that day. Also recap the NBA playoff games that preceded us. And Coach Carl, you look at this game so far, what do you see?
It's the Sacramento-Dallas game. It's the best basketball game in the NBA, with two teams that have played each other 20 times over the last 2 or 3 years, and there's still a great offensive battle going on. It's a great game. It's going to go to the fourth quarter.
It is fun basketball, and Coach also has a comment on the draft. There's a lot coming up, but right now, let's go back to Brad.
All right, Kevin, see you guys in a couple of minutes. Well, last year, it was Dallas winning a 7-game series against the Kings, and then they went on to lose in 6 to San Antonio in the conference finals. Right now, Sacramento with a 2-0 lead. Tomorrow night, NBA playoffs on TNT. And speaking of sweeping things, the Nets can do that to the Knicks at 7. The Spurs could do it to the Grizzlies at 9:30. Those are your 2 games tomorrow night. Our friends at TNT. Dallas shot horribly the last time these 2 teams got together. 32% was a franchise low. And tonight it seems better than 38, probably because of their offensive rebounding and the fact they've been able to get second chances.
You're right. If they wouldn't get all the, I mean, they have 12 offensive rebounds. That's the only thing that's really kept them in this game, because both teams aren't shooting that well. Sacramento's done a good job of limiting Dallas to outside shots and then coming down and keeping this crowd out of the game.
And now Dallas this quarter is 4 of 19. That lob too deep for Weber. Sacramento turns it over for the 10th time.
Brad Miller was throwing that lob to a healthy Chris Weber.
And now Christie comes right back with it anyway. He'll go up and try to one-hand it, and Nowitzki comes down with a miss.
Looked like he didn't know if he wanted to dunk that ball or lay it up.
His indecision cost him 2, that's for sure. And now whistle, and both teams pointing. Miller's pointing one way, and it is an offensive foul, and Don Nelson is hot. That's on Daniels, his second.
And his reaction was priceless, but Jimmy Clark wanted to signal a charge early on. Just had to check with the rest of his crew.
2-point game with 1:40 now remaining in the half. Seven on the shot clock. Nowitzki comes out to double team on Bibby. Weber again, the elbow. This time it won't go. And Finley with a rebound. I would bet Dallas would love to see Finley get one shot to go before this half ends. Maybe he'll get it from the free throw line as he gets pushed by Stojakovic.
He's got to get something going to the bucket.
Well, especially when you got Stojakovic on you, you got to take him to the basket. Finley did just that.
You see Nelly there once the call goes against him.
Nellyville, it's getting a little hot in here.
It is.
Didn't like that call at all.
He loves his rookies that it was called on, though. Marquise Daniels, who actually finished 6th in the Rookie of the Year ballot. He didn't get a lot of votes, but the way he played down the stretch, if he'd have played like that the whole season, he'd gotten a lot of votes. Here he is inside, right on cue.
That's because, you know, Sean's favorite player of all time won Rookie of the Year.
I know. You guys don't want to start that with a minute to go in the half now. Play nice.
I like what they did here, though, for Marquise Daniels. Instead of allowing him the free roll in the open court, put him in the block area and let him work.
Jamison on Christie. Christie spins from the baseline, lost the handle. Dallas comes up with it. Nowitzki inside with a finger roll.
Good job defensively by Dallas, which leads to a fast break layup by Nowitzki, and the crowd's back into it.
A half minute remaining in the half. And a whistle before the shot. Naharon Weber getting tangled up a little bit. And Naharon picks up number 1, smile on his face.
Yeah, I think the refs will probably watch that matchup pretty closely.
Naharon's a high-energy, garbage type of player. He's going to get in there, he's going to bang, he's going to try to frustrate the opponent. Like we talked about, he's not dirty. He just plays tough, aggressive basketball.
Here's the matchup again. And there's the second foul in about a 6-second span.
I don't agree with that call at all.
I don't either. That's just going to show you that they're not going to allow anything down there. You see Naharon pushing him out. And I think what they get him on is he puts 2 hands in the back. I think you're only allowed 1 in there. He puts both hands on him right there.
That looks like good defense to me. That looks good.
I think he had a problem is when you put the both hands on the back. I think you're only allowed to put the 1 hand on the back. It's a rule that's not called all the time, but obviously they're going to be looking at those 2 players pretty close tonight.
May not cost him any points because Weber struggles at the free throw line. Nash coming back in with 4 fouls.
Well, he's going to come in to take the last second shot here.
Naharon comes out.
Hey, interestingly enough, Don Nelson told us before the game, and I was surprised that Steve Nash is their best shooter. That he consistently beats Dirk Nowitzki in shooting games during practice, and that to me was a surprise. I know Dirk Nowitzki is a fantastic shooter. I did not know Steve Nash was that much better. He said he consistently beats him soundly.
Final 15 seconds, virtually no difference on the shot clock and the game clock. Daniels gets a pick from Jamison, trying to get it back to him, almost turn it over. Nash feeds low to Jamison, great pass. Weber behind the back. Peja, good if it goes. He almost got it. Sacramento never led. Dallas never gave up the lead. We had 1 tie at 33.
That half took like 5 minutes, Brad.
Seemed like it, didn't it? Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
All right, with Antoine Jamison, you won the 6-man award before the game. When you took the court, this place went nuts. What did that feel like?
Oh, man, I mean, from day one, these fans have, giving their support throughout the year. And I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for them. They opened me with open arms and made me feel welcome from day one. So, it's definitely for the fans because they did a terrific job.
Well, they want to support you guys tonight, and they have been. This win's so important here. How do you regain the energy you guys had early?
Well, the thing about it is this home court. We've done a tremendous job all year. Like I said, these fans have been a big part of that, but we just got to keep the energy, get on the boards. Once we do that, we're able to run and get easy baskets.
Antoine, thanks a lot.
I appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
Antoine, a good first half. Mom and Dad looking on as he not only won the award, but he helped his team with 8 points in that first half. Coming up, the Toyota halftime show. Kevin and George will be along, an NFL draft recap. George probably worried about what the Packers did, I guess. I don't know. Pistons and Bucks, game 3. The Hornets buzz the Heat. All that and a lot more. There's a buzz in Dallas at American Airlines Center. We got a dandy going between the Kings and the Mavericks. The Mavericks lead at the break.
Welcome to the Toyota Halftime Show.
Both teams struggling from the outside, especially the three-point line, but they're taking care of business inside. The Dallas Mavericks leading Sacramento right now at the half. Kevin Frazier, George Karl inside the studio, and a big day of basketball, but also a big day for NFL football. And, you know, growing up in Baltimore, I remember John Elway's vow to never play for the Colts when the Colts were thinking of choosing him. Eli Manning made a similar vow that he would not play for the Chargers if they took him with the first pick. Let's see what happened.
With the first choice in the 2004 NFL Draft, the San Diego Chargers select Eli Manning, quarterback, Mississippi.
Oh!
The San Diego Chargers and the New York Giants have exchanged their draft picks.
There were a few very tense moments, Coach, in New York City. Eli talking about going to law school, but finally the trade is pulled off. Phillip Rivers is headed out to San Diego. The Chargers get the third-round pick in 2004, and then next year a first and fifth-round pick. Eli Manning headed to New York City. Well, he will have to shine immediately. Meanwhile, we take a lot of pressure. We take a look at the top five, and once again, Manning was in a press conference discussing law school and once again reiterating that he would not go to San Diego when he found out about the trade. Meanwhile, 6 through 10, and the big note to note here is wide receivers and receivers, period. 7 receivers in the first round, 5 in the first 15 picks. There were a total of 10 trades. And how about Miami? 6 players for Miami picked in the first round. But, Coach, you like the guy who went 11th.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers might have their new Terry Bradshaw. I think they got a surprise pick. They got Ben Roethlisberger from Miami of Ohio. Mike Tirico all year long told me this was the guy. This was the guy in the draft. So Steelers got it. I'm happy.
He made Miami of Ohio go. Meanwhile, let's get back to basketball and look ahead to the first playoff game in Denver in 10 years. Timberwolves, Nuggets, and your thoughts on that game.
I think Denver is going to be like all these home teams. They got to show some energy, show some pride. How are they going to come out? Is Andre Miller going to give him more leadership? Is Carmelo going to have a great game? Camby's been playing great all season long. I think Denver has to play well early to get confidence in the game, to find the belief, a lot like how the Houston Rockets did yesterday against the LA Lakers.
If that was your team and you were in the locker room, what would you say to them to get them back into this series?
I think in playoff basketball, you can't be too serious. I think they're down 0-2. They feel the heat. They feel the pressure. They know that they got to find some answers. And the best way to find those answers is play loose. Go out and enjoy the game. Move the ball. Run up and down the court. Take the Denver court, which has been a good home court to them, and prove that they're a good basketball team.
Enjoy the game of basketball is what you're saying.
Run and gun.
And the Denver crowd will be fired up. You better believe that. They are primed and they're behind this team. And in Dallas, they're behind their Mavericks. The best home record during the regular season, one of the reasons, that guy right there, Dirk Nowitzki, 17 points. We'll be back in a moment.
This halftime show is presented by the all-new Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized. Welcome back to the Toyota Halftime Show.
Chris Webber, 16 points in the first half. How's he look so far, Coach?
You know, I think every game he seems to be getting stronger. This injury that he's had is about 5 guys in the league. He's the only guy right now playing basketball.
All right, we fast break through the games this afternoon. We start with Detroit and Milwaukee and the persistence of the Bucks right here, Coach.
Well, they played great early in the first half, got off to a double-digit lead in the first half, but as the game went on, Detroit came back.
And Big Ben, 21 rebounds for Ben Wallace, the bucket there, 51-49 at that point. How about their backcourt?
Well, in the second half, Billups led them in the third quarter with 11 points, knocked down a couple threes, got into the rhythm offensively, and Rip Hamilton in the fourth quarter would take over the game.
Michael Redd, 19 points. Wasn't enough, as you said. Rip, R.I.P.
He played great in the fourth quarter, struggled in the first half, but in the fourth quarter, he was the guy to knock down the big shots.
17 points for Rip Hamilton, the 4 rebounds, and what big win for the Pistons, and they take back home court advantage as they win 95-85.
Show the class performance in Detroit.
All right, Miami, New Orleans. Dwayne Wade has really outplayed Baron Davis so far. That changed this afternoon.
Well, I think Baron Davis went home and he had a couple days to fester, a 2-0 lead, and this is a game that defense came into this playoff series. New Orleans struggled. They took care of the guards. Eddie Jones and Dwayne Wade were 3 for 21. Lamar Odom was 5 for 18.
Yeah.
They shot 32%. You can't win on the road shooting 32%.
And when Baron Davis is doing doing stuff like that. 21 points, 5 assists for Barron. He also gets David Wesley into the act.
Wesley and Davis had 39 of their 77 points. They win the game here at the end when A. Jones clanks the last 3.
And the defensive effort, as you mentioned, by the Hornets, a much-needed win. Lamar Odom thinking about Game 4. 77-71, the final score. Caron Butler leads the way with 24 points and 15 rebounds. Not enough. B. Dizzle, Baron Davis, and his crew are back in this series. They're down 2-1. Meanwhile, in Dallas, it's a 7-point cushion for the home team, the best home team in the NBA. And let's not forget, we're looking ahead to Kevin Garnett and the Timberwolves taking on the Denver Nuggets. KG coming off that monstrous triple-double.
This halftime show is presented by the all-new Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized.
The Mavericks knew they had to attack tonight to save themselves in this series, and they have done so. Antoine Walker on that one. Antoine Jamison also in the first half after getting his 6th Man of the Year award prior to tip-off tonight. Chipped in with 8 points. The first 2 games, where were the Twans, you ask? Well, they struggled, to be quite honest with you, both with injuries and not getting a lot of minutes or points. But tonight they've contributed mightily. 16 points and 8 boards between them. And Dallas has a 7-point advantage at halftime, 49-42. Just about set to start the 3rd quarter. Welcome back, everybody. Michelle Tafoya is with us. Dan Marley and Sean Elliott with me. And first half, what Dallas had to do is what they did. And we said they were going to have to come out, get the crowd in it, and they did early.
Well, they did a good job offensive rebounding. I mean, they went in there and they had 12 offensive rebounds. They got second shots at the basket. So you're right. They've done what they had to do so far. They got to continue to do that. Nowitzki had a great half at 17 points.
The guy we were worried about, we talked about it when we opened up the game tonight, the MASH unit and whether or not Mike Bibby would be healthy. And as we take a look at the Sprite mad skills, Sean, he was more than healthy.
He did a fantastic job, particularly on the offensive end in that first half. You saw that little hesitation allowing him to beat Steve Nash. Then in the open floor, he's able to finish. And then the Mavericks left him alone behind screens. He's knocking down 3 balls. He's running the floor. And for a guy who has a sore hip flexor, I'd hate to see what he looks like when he's completely healthy.
Well, he had 15 points. All of them came in the first quarter. 6 out of 10, a couple of assists in 19 minutes of hard work. Let's check in with Michelle.
Well, the halftime talk in the Sacramento locker room was about just what you guys were talking about, rebounding. The feeling was that if the rebounding had been better for the Kings, they would have the scoring advantage in this game right now. They hope to slow down that guy, Dirk Nowitzki, Brad. They want to try to get him and Nash into further foul trouble. The second group of Kings is doing a better job rebounding than the starters, so they want their starters to get in that rhythm and pass the ball better, Brad.
Nowitzki in a rhythm on that opening jump shot. He has 19 points, and now he has another rebound. Dallas out there with its starters on the floor.
All they can do is hope to contain him.
Marquise Daniels, outside jumper over Vlade Divac.
Dallas has done a pretty good job defensively. Sacramento shooting under 39%. So not only are they getting the job done on the offensive rebounds, but they're coming down and playing some defense.
Right. So immediately by hitting their opening 2 shots, they match their biggest lead of the ball game, and it might swell right here to 13. Going to go to the free throw line to try to get it anyway.
Dirk, the defensive stopper.
Well, he did a nice job seeing ball and man when that pass was made. If he keeps his eye on the defender, there's no way he makes that steal. You see here, he's playing great position there. Terrific defensive position. He's able to see that pass out of the corner of his eye, and he's able to take the ball coast to coast.
Well, good communication. He switched out on that downscreen on Stojakovic and denied in the pass. So good communication on Dallas's end of switching and getting out there and denying the pass.
Playing some D.
Dirk Nowitzki hasn't missed from the free throw line. You see he's wearing those high ankle braces. Somebody said it looks kind of like the boots that Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders wear. He's had ankle problems in the playoffs the past couple of years. Misses his first free throw of the night, and only a second one of the playoffs.
Ever since we've seen those ladies, that's all Brad's talking about. Cheerleaders, cheerleaders, cheerleaders.
A 12-point lead is the biggest of the night for Dallas.
You know, I'd like to see Chris Webber come with the same tape job. All those years of hurting his ankle. This year he's avoided ankle problems, but he was out the first 58 games. But Dirk Nowitzki with his chronic ankle problems is finally doing something about it. I'd love to see that tape job a la Karl Malone.
Well, it's not cool anymore to have tape. I mean, you see all these guys with the low socks, and and no socks and the low tape jobs, you're right. I mean, the ankles are most important out there. You jump up, you're vulnerable in the air, and you come down, you can turn your ankle so easy. So I agree, Karl Malone's got that kind of tape job, and why not?
It's not pretty, but it's effective.
That's the third foul on Nowitzki as well. Peja Stojakovic led the NBA in free throw shooting this year, and he shows why with that one. That's only his 6th point. Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, there's their current starting quarterback, Quincy Carter, the starter, and talked to him at halftime a little bit about what the Cowboys did in the draft today. They were looking for a running back, and I guess they got Julius Jones from Notre Dame. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. They traded down and still got a pretty good back, and he'll carry some of the load and maybe take some of the load off Quincy. Finley from 15. Stojakovic with a rebound.
His rhythm just isn't there.
Nope. And it's amazing. He was out here way before anybody other than us. He was out here shooting by himself, and he looked good, but it hasn't carried over to the game.
Well, the key was no one was guarding.
That's true. Lade with his first basket.
The coaching staff's over there saying that he tipped the ball while it was still on the rim, but good interior passing by the Sacramento big men.
Nash out to Finley, and he gave up an open shot there. That really tells you something.
You see how he hesitated there. His rhythm just isn't there, Brad.
Now around a Walker pick, he's going to try to penetrate and score, and he'll go to the free throw line. Vlade Divac with the foul.
Close call there.
Real close. Nelson didn't like it, obviously.
Yeah, that one never gets called.
Finley at the free throw line, 2 for 2 tonight, 85% on the season.
It's a good tip. I'm sure the ball's still in the cylinder. Yes.
Yes, it was.
Well, it's international rules. With all these international players, seven of the 32 foreign players in the playoffs are playing in this ball game.
Finley hits them both. Vlade Divac, of course, 36 years old, out of Serbia, Montenegro, and final year of a 6-year deal. There's been some talk that a $12 million a year contract, and it won't happen again for a guy that's 36 years old, and here he has it on the high post. Some people think that maybe he'd even go back and play a year of European ball before retiring. Retirement's a possibility, too. Owns a restaurant in Sacramento. He's got businesses in his home country. And now he's backpedaling, and look out. People are flying all over the place. Doug Christie will have to get surgically removed from row 2.
Anton Walker doing a great job pushing the basketball. Doug Christie with a nice swipe. He's always staying in plays.
One of our guys taking a charge down there, too. Good job, fellas. Way to stand in or sit in. 10-point game with 9.5 to go, third quarter. Walker trying to go right back to Nash, and it's kicked by Weber.
And Christie has yet to score in this game. The guy's been very consistent for Sacramento. In the first 2 games, hasn't found his shot yet, but is still doing the little things that keeps his team in it. Defensively, rebounding, running the floor. So we'll look to him to pick up the scoring here in the second half.
His game isn't defined by what he does offensively, but he's been playing a big offensive role of late.
I love this Daniels kid. First playoff, first year in the NBA. It's like he has no conscience, and it always looks like he's going through it while he's half asleep. His mom says that's all he ever did was play basketball and sleep. There's a turnover, the 12th against Sacramento. Rick Adelman knew he was going to be in a hornet's nest tonight against the Mavericks, and he said they're going to try to run us out of this building. And that's what they have tried to do. Right now doing a pretty good job of it. But Sacramento's come back from big deficits before during the regular season. They know how to do it, and they've got guys like Stojakovic that can shoot them back in a ball game in a hurry. Here's Daniels again. Marquise Daniels, nothing sleepy about that move, and they're up 14.
You and I just looked at each other. I mean, that was an amazing effort by that rookie. I thought he had nowhere to go. I thought he was in deep trouble.
Bibby gets around him, and Bibby with a finger roll comes out to Finley. Nowitzki off the glass. Well, that would have run the crowd totally into it.
I like what Dallas is doing. They're being very aggressive and taking the ball to the basket.
And going to be a foul on Finley there, trying to slow down Weber. Marquise Daniels, an undrafted rookie out of Auburn. Last year at Auburn averaged 18.5 points a game, was the #2 scorer in the SEC, but signed as a free agent. And nothing's going to be free when this season's over because Dallas wants to keep him badly, and he is going to become a fairly wealthy young man when the season's over.
It'd be crazy for him to go anywhere else.
Weber, great move with the left hand around Nowitzki. Weber has 18. Sacramento only has 2 field goals going back over the last 6 minutes, dating back really to the second quarter.
Chris Weber continues to impress me with the way he's played on one leg.
Daniels tied up. Good job by Peja Stojakovic defensively. Let's check in with Michelle.
Well, Don Nelson said this about Marquise Daniels this week. Quote, Marquise is very unusual. You don't find guys that are that well-rounded, passing, defending, shooting. The only thing he wasn't doing early was rebounding, and he's doing that now. And he finished with this, Brad. He said he's one of the best rookies that I ever had, and he's very, very smart.
Boy, and he has played along with Josh Howard so well. The 2 rookies, one drafted, one a free agent. Bibby got around Finley and drew a foul.
And Marquise leads the team in tattoos. He has 20 tattoos on his body. So once he gets that money, he'll be able to get 20 more.
He's a true veteran.
And we've seen him lose so many battles this year with officials because they don't give rookies many calls, unless, of course, you might be Sean's favorite player of all time or Carmelo Anthony.
Rookie of the year, LeBron.
Tonight's ESPN NBA playoff doubleheader. Speaking of Carmelo Anthony, will conclude at 9:30 Eastern. Nuggets continue their series against Kevin Garnett and the Wolves in Game 3. NBA playoffs on ESPN. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Brad Nessler, Dan Marley, Sean Elliott, Michelle Tafoya from Dallas American Airlines Center, where Mike Bibby has 16 points for Sacramento, but Dallas has an 11-point lead here with 7:40 remaining in the third quarter. Dallas needing a win. They don't want to go down 3-0 because nobody has unburied themselves from that hole in 7-game playoff history. And they could just as easily win 2 here. A lot of people think that. Sacramento, of course, would love to steal one here before going back to Arco.
And if Dallas can win 2 here, as much as Sacramento's banged up, it just plays into their favor. As Chris Weber with a great move baseline and elevates and finishes with the slam.
20 for Seaweb.
How's he doing it? Can somebody explain that to me?
I'm telling you, it's just pure talent. I mean, the guy's got more talent in that one leg than most guys have in their whole body. You just see his heart and his athletic ability. And he's a great player, and he's out there on one leg still dominating.
Finley, there he rattled one home from about 12 feet. Sort of backpedaled when he saw Vlade in his way. And Finley has 12.
And plus he has Dirt Gardner.
I hear you. I mean, talent only takes you so far. You got to have some type of desire and effort. Chris Webber's putting it all out there on the line.
Stojakovic over Finley. Rebound, Nowitzki. Ooh, big pile up there. Nowitzki and Nash.
And if Sacramento's going to win this game, Page has got to find his stroke. He's been struggling here tonight, and in the last game he didn't shoot real well. So he's got to somehow find his stroke.
He's got to get a couple easy ones. You know, with Sacramento slowing the ball down now, it allows Dallas to focus more on Page than the half-court set. When this team is out running, getting transition buckets, they're getting a little secondary breaks. Peja Stojakovic is dangerous. He does a fantastic job running the floor, trailing the break, getting wide open threes in transition.
Vlade Divac's picked up his 3rd foul. Daniels inside.
Well, that play was all set up by Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, Peja rotated all the way out there to the top of the key to stop a pass to Dirk, and that left Marquise Daniels wide open to cut through the lane.
We asked Don Nelson if anything surprises him about Daniels as Nahara comes up with a steal and dishes to Daniels. He said, at the end of the regular season, when he went for 33 different nights, nothing surprises me, and now he's going to the free throw line after this timeout. Vlade Divac picks up his 4th foul. Chris Webber trying to will the Kings back into the game. He leads the way with 20. This, his last move with a reverse slam. But still, it's not enough against Dallas to this point. Mavericks up by 13. Their owner looking for a charge. His team charging to the lead here.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by the new Sprite Remix Very Clear.
Dallas Mavericks with a 13-point lead with 5:53 remaining in the third quarter. Dick Bavetta and our officials wired tonight.
Got a solid game going here. Let's continue to be proactive. High certainty of calls. Look for calls to make rather than to not make. 5:53 to go with the period. There may be some tempo changes coming in. So let's be alert to the new matchups that we have. Anything, Jimmy? Nope. Temp.
All right, Dick, we're going to look for possible flow of momentum here in his 29th NBA, only 171 playoff games.
All right, who's explaining that to me? Sean, what Dick said.
What did Dick say?
Yeah.
Might have some lineup and
keep
tempo
your eyes
changes.
peeled.
High intensity of calls.
Make a call instead of not making the call.
They've been making the calls tonight.
They've been doing a good job. I mean, this is not a easy game to ref. Dick Bavetta, one of the best refs in the league.
It's hard for you to say that about refs.
It is. It's hurting me right now.
Even though you've been out of the game for a while, they still give you dirty looks.
I know.
Usually have 2 fouls before we ever go on camera. Daniels missed them both.
But Dick being a good crew chief, keeping his crew abreast of the situation, as Brad does for Sean and I all through the night.
Need somebody to keep you in line.
That's it. Weber trying to get position on Nahara. 6 on the shot clock. Bibby will drive. Reverse layup goes. Heck of a move by Bibby.
Yeah, great move by Bibby. Nahara trying to front Chris Weber, which takes away any kind of help defense. And Bibby just took his man to the hole.
It's Mike's first field goal since the first quarter when he had 15 points.
Yeah, I think his hip flex is hurting him. What? It's perfectly fine to us, at least.
Daniels brings it out. Nash wants to get a shot away. Nahara take it instead. The Kings would love to see that all night. Nahara taking a jumper from the outside. Bibby to Christie. And Nowitzki, nice job defensively, but he doesn't get the rebound. Christie just gets away with a travel. Crowd goes crazy. So does Don Nelson. No call. Now Weber. And Nahara gets it back in the outlet to Nash. Nash might try to do this himself. Nope. Now he will. Wide open three.
Well, Sacramento taking it to the rim. Christie misses a puppy. Weber takes it to the basket, misses another layup. So Dallas comes down and nails a three.
Nowitzki again blocks the shot of Christie, and Christie in frustration picks up the foul.
Christie can't throw it in the ocean. He's 0 for 7.
Wow. Well, you know, all good things got to come to an end at some time. Doug Christie's been playing phenomenal basketball, but here's the money ball here. Steve Nash. We talked about him being the best shooter on the Mavericks ball club. You cannot leave him wide open.
The other thing Don Nelson told us when you were talking about the shooting games he wins against Nowitzki, and you saw it there, he says Nash acts like he's been in the end zone before. When he beats Nowitzki, he never says a thing, and then once every 8 games, Nowitzki wins, and he walks around going, I beat him, I beat him. That's just the way Nash plays. Nowitzki has 21.
Well, that's what Sean does when we play golf. When he beats me, runs around the clubhouse.
Are you kidding me? I need 20 strokes when I play with you, man. Are you kidding me?
Nash comes out. Remember, he had 4 fouls all in the first half, and now he survived to the 4:20 mark of the third without picking up a 5th.
Would that be Nintendo golf or Golden Tee or something like that? Certainly not real golf. Not splitting fairways like you were.
Sacramento has enough field goal in over 3 minutes. They won't get one here either. Nowitzki. Tough shot won't go. Weber clears the glass. The lead's the biggest it's been all night. Nahara just a pain in the rear end right now for the Kings. And Daniel scores.
Well, it's going all Dallas way there. I thought Chris Weber got fouled after he got around Nahara, who reaches in, and then they get a little ticky-tack foul the other way. See here, see here, he gets around his body, gets the steal. And now Weber blows by him. He reaches in, gets the ball, leads to a fast break layup and a foul.
And the rookie on the other end, fouled by Bibby, will have a chance to add to that field goal with a free throw when we come back. 3:49 to go in the third. Mavericks on the run here at home.
This update brought to you by Taco Bell. Kevin Frazier, George Karl in the studio. We take a look at the NBA playoff slate for Sunday, and it kicks off with a closeout game, Pacers and Celtics, GMC hang time when you switch over to ABC after watching the games on ESPN. Lakers and Rockets. Rockets try to pull even. Nets and Spurs both can close out. Coach, who closes it out?
I think the Celtics are done. They're going to join. They're going to join Boston's retirement, and the Knicks and Spurs, Nets, Spurs, all of that. I think one of them will win.
Okay, one of them will win. Meanwhile, Carmelo Anthony looking for a win at home tonight. He's the youngest player to start an NBA playoff game in 19 years, 325 days, and all Melo's ready. Brad?
Mark Cuban right now, a happy owner. On the other side, Joe Maloof. Gavin's not with him. That's his mom sitting to his left. Joe, the Kings owner, who came in with a 2-0 lead. And two of the owners have put on two of the best shows in basketball when you're at their home arenas. You always have a good time, that's for sure.
You know what, Brad? Playoffs are all momentum. Sean said it earlier. Sacramento did what they had to do. They won their 2 games. Dallas is trying to win this one, and it just keeps going back. If they can win their 2 here, it goes back to Sacramento with the momentum on Dallas' side.
That's why Rick Adelman said we would like to steal one here. He knew it was going to be tough at American Airlines Center.
He seemed anxious, a little worried in the locker room. He knows that a 2-0 lead coming back to this building is not really a lead.
And now a turnover and then a foul on Stojakovic. That'll be his third. Get an all-access look at the NBA Finals. Tune into NBA TV playoff show Destination Finals every weeknight on NBA TV.
Rick Adelman was talking to us before the game, and so when I said he was worried, he's worried about the condition of his guys. They're banged up. He knows that they held serve at home, and Dallas being the best home team in the league, they were going to defend their home court. He's hoping to try to sneak one of these games, but you can see here the Mavericks starting to put it on.
Well, why wouldn't you be worried? I mean, you're not sure how healthy Mike Bibby is. Chris Webber's not 100%. Brad Miller isn't even close to 100%. Bobby Jackson's sitting out, and you're coming into the hardest place in the NBA to play, where the Mavericks won 36 games. So, I mean, he has a right to be worried right now. The longer this series goes, the worse it is for Sacramento because his guys are banged up.
Dallas with a 9-0 run to take a 20-point lead. And Daniels bumps Bibby to pick up his third foul.
But again, you know, also with Sacramento, you know, they're one of those teams, just like the Mavericks. A 10, 15-point lead is never safe.
Yep.
They could turn it on in a hurry.
Well, you said earlier that Doug Christie, who's going out right now, had to have a good game, and he's 0 for 7, and Page is 2 for 9. So those are two guys who are usually really good for this team. Haven't had it tonight.
Right. Their combination is kind of the way Nash and Finley shot in the last game. Wheeler misses outside. Bibby will take it. And crashing the boards. Who's going to get it? Dallas ball.
Dan, you brought out a good point about Peja Stojakovic. He's got to get involved in this game. He's got no touches in this half.
Well, he hasn't, and that's the problem. He's a guy who needs a lot of touches, and what you said earlier was right. He's got to get some movement off the ball where he gets some easy layups, and that opens up for his jumper. So he's just not getting enough touches or shots in this game.
And a foul on Miller. Stojakovic hasn't hit a field goal since the 9:09 mark of the second quarter. Michelle?
Well, you know, the fact that Don Nelson has 2 rookies on the floor together is a pretty amazing thing. People should know that he has this saying, no rookies on the wood makes the game go good. But these two have been so good throughout the season, and they're very good friends. They first met when they played against one another in the NCAA tournament. Then they both worked out for the Portland Trail Blazers and met there. They saw each other again at rookie camp. Howard, of course, was drafted. Marquise Daniels not. But when they found out they'd be here in Dallas together, they decided they were going to approach this rookie season together to make each other better. Josh Howard told me before the game, I know that in a lot of situations, players would be competitive and envious and there'd be jealousy. All we really do is cheer for each other, Brad.
Yeah, the Daniels, when they were in Orlando recently, took Josh Howard down to meet some of his relatives, went to one of his uncle's soul food restaurants, and all his family said these guys must have been separated at birth. They act just like brothers. And they're two awfully good rookies. Under 3 minutes remaining in the third. A 22-point Dallas lead. Miller struggles to get one up there, and he's fouled. Foul's going to be on Jamison.
You know what, I like the way Dallas is playing. Usually you look at Dallas, you think of a kind of a soft team. They're not soft tonight. These guys are down there battling, putting bodies on people, making it tough for Brad Miller to cut across the lane and not give him easy shots. So this is the way Dallas has to play if they're going to want to move on in these playoffs.
Well, you know, they have 19 or 20,000 people behind them. And as you know, when you're at home and those people are cheering for you, all of a sudden you got energy in your legs. Everything that you do is done with a little bit more zip.
But that's how you got to play on the road. I mean, I understand what you're saying. It's definitely easier to play here because everybody's behind you. But, you know, you got to play that way all the way around or you're not going to win on the road just like they haven't won all year long. So they got to take this energy that they're getting here tonight. And when they go back to Sacramento, bring that style with them.
Yeah. Easier said than done, though, because you know those Sacramento fans, they start screaming and yelling. All of a sudden, you can't feel your legs. You're out of wind. You lose your focus. Everything goes down the drain when those people start ringing bells and screaming at you.
Daniels leans in, gets a shot over Bibby, but he's going to get called for the foul.
They've been going to that matchup all night. Bibby has been guarding Daniels, and they just take him down to the post. And Marquise Daniels is trying to use his size and his power to get around. That time was just too aggressive and got the offensive foul.
Don Nelson thinks that Marquise Daniels somewhere down the road will be a point guard, and a big one, and a strong one. Here comes Howard and Daniels. And it's Howard all the way himself. Jamison will try to clean it up. And now Howard tips it in. Josh Howard's first field goal.
Sacramento's walking up the floor like they're defeated a little bit.
Weber makes a tough catch in traffic, draws 3 white jerseys, and then he's fouled.
And Dan, what would Chris Weber have done with that pass in the middle of last season? He would have pump faked a few times, and he would have put everybody and the ball in the bucket.
Well, he wouldn't even have to pump fake. He would have just caught it, turned, and rose up and dunked on somebody. But like you said, he's playing on one leg here, and he's not allowed to do that. So he's trying to finesse his way around the basket. But, you know, just Dallas' aggressiveness. We've seen it all night on the offensive rebound. That last play, they had 3 tips. And then you come down here, and Weber catches the ball, and they got 3 or 4 guys surround them. So they're playing great team basketball.
Playing with a sense of urgency.
Stojakovic, tough night for Peja. Only has 2 field goals. You see the Mavericks' second chance points. A big advantage with those offensive boards. Weber's at the free throw line right now, where he is 2 of 5 tonight. And he missed another one.
So, you know, the ball is just not bouncing their way. Even when it looks like they get a break, they're not knocking down their free throws and missing easy looks. Mavericks making things happen for themselves.
Here's Daniels working against Bibby again. Defensive 3-second call.
Defensive 3-second violation. That's a technical.
With 1:40 remaining, Michael Finley will do the honors with the free throw. Just to kind of update folks, we talk around the fact that Chris Webber's not the Chris Webber that we're used to seeing, and a lot of people don't maybe know that in the second playoff game last year against Dallas, that's when he went down with a knee injury. Subsequently had surgery in June, and it was a long rehab to get back, as Finley can't even find it from the free throw line right now. But that's why it's not the same explosion of Chris Webber, and he missed 51 games due to the injury, 8 more due to suspension. So his scoring this year, under 19 points a game at 18.7 in the games he did play in the regular season, is his lowest since his rookie season. And that rookie season, by the way, was playing for Don Nelson in Golden State.
Finley, there he found it.
That was a nice rhythm jump shot by Michael Finley. Did a nice job coming off the screen, got his feet set.
24-point lead. And now some of the stuff that Bibby's throwing up that was going down in the first half isn't, but he'll go to the free throw line.
Their offense has gone right out the window.
Antoine Jamison picks up the foul. So Mike Bibby has 1 field goal in the second half. 18 points for the game. He can make it 20 if he hits this next free throw. Bibby had a tough playoffs last year. Averaged only 12.7 points and 2.6 assists per game. He's been much better this season. Knocks down both free throws. As we approach a minute remaining in the third quarter. Antoine Walker back in the Dallas lineup, guarded by Weber. Got around it. Leaves it for Daniels. Up and under, but he missed.
That was a great pass by Antoine Walker.
Weber again contested, this time by Howard, who picks up the foul.
Foul, number 5.
57 seconds left in the third quarter here. Tomorrow night, NBA playoffs on TNT. The Nets can get rid of the Knicks if they win. Spurs can do likewise to the Grizzlies if they win. 7 and 9:30 tomorrow night on TNT. Couple of game 4s.
You know what I like about this game so far as far as the Mavericks are concerned? We've done games before where you'd see guys come all the way down and lay it up. They're not getting any, free baskets. They're following. No. 2 or 3 guys are over there. Now, the defense is not great, but it's much better. At least they're active and they're being aggressive and they're taking the initiative out there.
Yeah, they're contesting shots and, like you said, no easy layups.
22 points for Weber. Finley the crossover against Peeler. Throws up a prayer for Howard to answer.
Was that a pass?
We'll give it to him.
I was trying to bail him out there.
He tried to do the Kobe.
Dallas again doing a nice job hitting the boards.
See him taking the ball to the basket, tries to draw the contact and just throws it up, and Howard being at the right place at the right time.
Miller ran over Daniels way out of the top of the key. Ball comes loose. Sacramento turns it over again. Been a bad quarter for turnovers for the Kings. Jamison get a second chance inside. 10 for Antoine Jamison.
And you saw Howard on the defense and then cutting off the cutter and then comes down and just delivers the blow to Brad Miller's face. So we're seeing a Dallas team that's very aggressive and physical.
Rick Adelman's going to take a quick timeout here with 21.8 remaining in the third quarter. Brad Miller trying to shake off the effects of getting whacked right between the eyes. His team's getting it between the eyes right now, too. 83-59. There's where it happened right there.
It took 2 shots. It took a chin right in the...
Josh Howard was in front of him, and he came off shaking the cobwebs.
And now he's got an elbow, a shoulder, a chin, and an ear.
I don't know if Vitaly Klitschko will take one from Corey Sanders tonight. That's wrong. I don't know.
And you see the frustration, Brad Miller right there. Antoine James all over him. And Brad kind of throws an elbow to get off, and Dick Berbetta calls the foul on Jamison.
That's a third on Antoine Jamison.
See what Brad said. That's enough. Get him off me.
Miller, who's been banged up, Michelle, and he's got all kinds of problems.
You know, some of the beat reporters, Brad, who follow this team day to day, told me that about a week ago, Brad Miller could not raise that right arm above his shoulder level. And missing free throws, things like that, are signs that maybe that elbow and shoulder are bothering him more than he lets on. I am told he is an incredibly tough guy. He'll never let you know when he's hurting, and that's why he was able to shake off that collision so easily just then, guys.
And he missed them both. And he had that trouble in the last game. Came into the playoffs, came into this game only 4 out of 8 from the free throw line. And tonight he's 2 for 4. And you can tell he's not extending all the way in a shot.
You can see that on the free throw line. He's not extending. He's not able to raise that shoulder up at all.
Block shot. Nice job by Gerald Wallace to block the last shot of the quarter. But it's another quarter that belongs to the Mavericks. They took a 7-point halftime lead, and it ballooned big time. They doubled the Kings in scoring in the third. And now, at the end of 3, Dallas is 12 minutes away from being back in the hunt in this first-round Western Conference playoff series. They needed a win. Back in Dallas at American Airlines Center, where the Mavericks have a big lead heading into the fourth quarter. High definition is the most exciting thing to happen to basketball since the playoffs. They continue on ESPN HD tomorrow. Game 4 between the Pacers and Celtics. Once you've experienced the NBA on ESPN HD, you'll never go back. It's all sponsored by Phillips and Best Buy. With Michelle DeFoya, Dan Marley, Sean Elliott, I'm Brad Nessler. Dallas 12 minutes away from getting their first win in this playoff series against Sacramento. We talked about how good they've been in the regular season at home, the best in the business, and through 3 quarters, they have definitely been the better team tonight so far.
I've been impressed with the way they play defense. I mean, the 2 rookies have come in and been very physical. Offensively, they got 17 offensive rebounds. They're taking the ball to the basket, so great job by Dallas for showing up tonight and being the aggressor.
Sacramento in that third quarter, it was a disaster. They had 4 field goals and 7 turnovers. That's not good.
Well, they have 17 turnovers right now to 9 assists.
That's not good.
That's a horrendous ratio. Are you kidding me?
It's horrendous.
Gerald Wallace first point, now 2 of the night. Chris Webber looking on. He has a 22-point night. But who knows, his night might be over.
But only 2 Kings of double figures, and that speaks volumes about the way Dallas has played defense and how banged up the Kings are. They just have no answers for the offensive end.
Again, Bibby has to watch Daniels try to back him down and then hit the turnaround jumper. That's been a familiar sight tonight. 19 for Marquise Daniels. Bibby blows by everybody but missed the layup. Mavericks still looking to run with some fresh legs out there, including 2 rookies. Walker, Jamison, Finley, Daniels, and Howard on the floor for Dallas.
Well, Marquise Daniels is showing his stuff much like Tayshaun Prince did last year for Detroit. I mean, they're running through the offense with this guy.
He's got 21 now.
His game is just cut from a fine piece of silk. He's just so smooth.
Peeler will take an outside jumper. And it's the other rookie, Howard, with a rebound. Dallas turns it over. Nice crossover by Bibby. This time he gets the layup. He's going to miss 2 of those.
No, Bibby and Chris Webber are the only guys, like Sean said, that are really scoring for this team. And Peja and Doug Christie hasn't been their night, so you can't beat the Dallas Mavericks with just 2 guys.
Dallas in the first 2 games of the series shot 30% in the fourth quarter and turned it over 5 times. So they've given up some opportunities. But tonight, with their third quarter being their highest scoring quarter of the series, they've taken a commanding 25-point lead here. Marquise Daniels has showed us a little bit of everything tonight, fellas.
In the block area, watch Bibby. He just has no choice but to try to front him. And Daniels does a nice job spinning off of him. And the pass is delivered right on time.
Bibby sits. And out there right now for Sacramento, Christie, Peeler, Gerald Wallace, Brad Miller, and Sangaila.
And if Rick Adelman could take Brad Miller off the floor, he would. He just doesn't have enough bodies.
Miller tried to feed Sangaila on the baseline, and he throws it away. Another Sacramento turnover. Dirk Nowitzki coming back in for Dallas. Antoine Walker coming out. Nowitzki, the tie for the top honors in scoring right now with Marquise Daniels at 21 for Dallas. Nowitzki short. Steve Nash playing without that foul trouble in the first half, and Daniels' superb play as Wallace scores helped ease that situation.
Sacramento just got to keep playing good basketball and realize that all Sacramento really wanted to do is come in here and win 1 out of 2 games. It may not happen tonight, but they got to keep, well, you know, they got to keep it. It won't happen tonight, but, you know, they got to realize that they got to continue to play good ball and be ready for the next game, because all they really want is to steal 1 game here in Dallas.
Yeah, that surprise attack hasn't worked today. You know, Coach Adamman tried to slow the game down, but Mavericks just imposed their will on this ball game.
Once they got rebounds, they imposed the running game on Sacramento.
Well, you're right. And the first thing that Sacramento has going to have to do is try to limit their offensive rebounds. I mean, they do a good job defensively, but if you continue to give teams second and third looks at the basket, you're not going to win the game.
Wallace picks up an offensive foul. Dallas leads by 25.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by The Day After Tomorrow, in theaters May 28th. And the new Chevrolets, 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution.
Sam Caselli had 40 points in Game 1 of this series. Getting ready. Timberwolves and Nuggets coming up next. First playoff game in Denver in 10 years. You better believe they'll be fired up. Brad?
They're fired up in Dallas right now, Kevin. They've got a 25-point lead, and the Kings don't rule this court. Dallas does. Looking for their 37th win of the year here. 36 in the regular season, was tops in the league. And they're having a little fun, and they got a little bit more bounce in their step right now. Steve Nash, his brother plays professional sports here in town, too, for the Dallas Sidekicks. Soccer player, Marty. Steve's dad was a great soccer player as well here in Nashville. Earlier in the season, we were doing a game. Steve got food poisoning. He said, I was over to see my new nephew. Marty had a little boy. He said, I got sick. I had to get out of the house. I didn't want the kid to get sick. There's a collision between Jamison, Finley, and Peeler. Jamison took the worst of that. Finley inside and draws a foul. Foul's going to be on Wallace.
Peeler was just trying to smash his way through those screens. He's not giving up yet.
At the line, Mike Finley, 4 for 5 from the stripe tonight. 14 points, so a better game tonight for Michael, but still hasn't quite found his stroke. Shows right there again.
It's not from the lack of trying. Like you said, he was out here like 3 hours before the game with a full sweat taking jumpers, but as Sean alluded to, it's a lot different when the game is started and somebody's guarding him, but he's such a great athlete that he'll break out of it sooner or later, and he just got to be aggressive and keep taking the ball to the basket.
We saw Don Nelson shake hands with Marquise Daniels and pat him on the back of the head. Boy, he's had a whale of a game, the rookie with 21. Finley, really, Michael Finley's struggles go back to really March, mid-March on. He averaged 16 points a game the last 11 games of the season, and so it's sort of carried over. GMC NBA Hang Time starts things off at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Then don't forget the Lakers and the Rockets Game 4 on ABC Sports. Home of the NBA Finals. That's tomorrow. See if this one goes. Yep. That'll help his cause. First fourth quarter points in the series for Finley. A free throw and then a three-pointer. So this one's going to look better in the scorebook for Michael Finley because he's got 18 already. That's what they like to see.
Well, Coach Don Nelson told us before the game that he's had 2 solid practices after the 2 games in Sacramento. Just a matter of time before he breaks out of his slump, if you want to call it that.
And Lottie trying to go to the basket. He's fouled by Scott Williams. Michelle.
Well, you were talking earlier, Brad, about Vlade and his plans for the future. They change almost daily. There have been times this season he says he's felt so good that he could go 2 or 3 more seasons, and then there are times he's been so tired he thinks that this is really it. it may come down to what Sacramento does. He thinks if they win a championship, if they're able to get past all of this and win a championship, it might be fun to continue to play. If they don't, he really thinks he might just take the summer. But as you mentioned, a business in Sacramento, one more on the way. That's really his town now. Chances are he'll stay there if he continues to play at all.
He hits both free throws. He tells us he's 36 years old and not a day older than that. There's been speculation that that's not true. I don't know.
All these foreign guys coming over, you can't find their birth certificate.
Got a good place in Sacramento, though. What's it called? Town 21? Something with 21.
It ain't no Marley's. I can tell you that.
I know that.
Little selfless plug there. I could tell you,
I'm a selfless guy.
I've been to Marley's a few times. Good atmosphere. Good food. Got to do something about that management, though.
Yeah. You two actually end up being owners, then there's going to be huge pictures of you in Marley's. 8 on the shot clock. Here is Vlade Divac backing in, trying to turn on Scott Williams, and Scott blocked it. Josh Howard wisely pulls it out. Steve Nash will take it right back in. And Finley with a steal. Boy, Sacramento turnover prone tonight. And it hasn't mattered really who's been on the court for them.
I can't remember the last time their turnover to assist ratio was 2-to-1.
They've got 22 turnovers tonight. Dallas, of course, led the league during the regular season, just a little over 12 turnovers a game.
It's uncharacteristic of the way the Kings play the game. After Karl Malone and John Stockton left Utah, a lot of people were saying that this was the best passing team in basketball. They were saying that even when those two guys weren't in Utah. People love to watch the Sacramento Kings. They love to watch the way they move the basketball, the way they pass the ball. And tonight, they just haven't demonstrated any of that.
Tonight they passed it away. Season high, by the way, those 22 turnovers.
I'm sitting here watching Vlade and Scott Williams play against each other. It's like the senior tour. These two guys are just plodding along.
I thought Scott was your boy, man.
He is my boy.
I thought Vlade was your boy.
They both are. Hey, I feel them. I'm up there in age. That's why I'm sitting over here. But
yeah,
those two guys definitely have got some years in this league, and watching them play against each other, it's like they're on the Champions Tour. Lee Trevino and Jack Nicklaus battling it out.
All 3 woods and pitching wedges. It's all about the short game anyways.
Scott Williams, who signed a couple years ago with the Suns as a free agent, but has been on championship teams in Chicago's heyday. And Scott's been around a while.
He took my ring, Brad. Never forgive him for it.
He's in his 14th season out of North Carolina. So he's got a little bit of mileage on him, too, just like Vlade does. Christie, and boy, they could have used a lot of that a lot earlier. That's his first points of the night.
But, you know, he has played terrific basketball down the stretch. The last month of the season, the guy was amazing. Rick Adelman said as much before the game. He just couldn't say anything negative about Doug Christie, the way he's played the last several weeks of the season.
Just picked up his 3rd foul. Dallas owner getting a workout before the game. And looking for a traveling call.
Macarena right there, huh?
He's happy now, though. Things are going pretty well.
The big man and the big man getting ready for the game. What could they be talking about, George?
They're probably talking about his son back out in L.A. in the series.
Maybe they're getting ready for the Timberwolves and Nuggets and talking about that game. That's coming up next. Brad?
Take a look at our Chevrolet game track tonight. 2 guys that Rick Adelman was hoping would get on track and stay on track were Chris Webber and Mike Bibby, leading the way with 22 apiece, but they didn't get enough help from Christie and Stojakovic and company. On the other side, 2 leading scorers each with 21. One comes from a familiar place, Dirk Nowitzki, and the other one, kind of a surprise, although he's starting to put those kind of games together with regularity. That's Daniels with 21. And the second chance points, that's been the big difference. The offensive glass, Dallas has owned that tonight, and they own the ball game with 5:35 to go.
Well, they've averaged 20 offensive rebounds a game, and they have 18 right now, so it's nothing new, but it's something Sacramento's going to have to figure out. They just can't keep allowing that many offensive rebounds. And there's another one. As Sean nods his head approvingly.
Sacramento never led in this game. We had one tie at 33. And Dallas all the way. Sangala underneath his first field goal.
And you were right on time with that, that's why. Talking about the offensive rebounds, and Jameson got the offensive rebound back. Your timing was superb.
Under 5 minutes. Dallas using the home court advantage. Tony Delk even seeing a little bit of time right here. Daniels has played a lot.
There, Dan.
And another one. They have 20, right on their average.
Howard and Daniels, the two rookies, both on the floor. Daniels has played just about the whole way tonight.
Dallas ball 6.
38 minutes for the first-year pro out of Auburn.
Those guys look disappointed, but they really came out and gave it their all. They just don't have enough right now to challenge the Mavericks on their home court.
And they don't get the shot away.
No basket, shot clock.
There's going to be a lot of ice in that Sacramento locker room. On different body parts. I mean, they just got to try to get healthy, regroup, and come back another day to fight, try to get a win here in Dallas.
They'll all hope the ice machines on their floor at the hotel work.
Well, they could just lift this court up and lay on it.
Gerald Wallace.
Did he grab the rim before he dunked the ball?
Yes.
Okay. Just double checking. That wasn't called.
It's time not to call anything anymore.
Yeah.
Dallas ball 13.
Everybody has dinner reservations.
Yes, we do.
Don Nelson trying to change our plans. You never know. Depends on who's buying. Christie outside. And Scott Williams a rebound. Marquise Daniels, you can tell he's a young guy. He's still not breathing hard.
He doesn't look like anything bothers him. He looks like he's going at the same speed, and he changes gears on you for a second. The guy just looks like nothing rattles him. Game's easy for him.
Antoine Jamison will go to the free throw line. It's the 331st consecutive game for Antoine Jamison, which is tops in the NBA. 11 points tonight for him. There's the numbers along with 7 rebounds.
Well, you know, that number in the middle, 5 for 17 field goals, is deceiving because he's getting tips around the bucket. Those count as shots. Not like he shot the ball horribly tonight. He's getting his hands on a lot of rebounds, tips around the bucket, and those add up.
Don't forget the Nuggets. First playoff game in 10 years. They'll be hosting the Timberwolves following our game. Minnesota with an opportunity to go up 3-0.
The Nuggets with the guy who should have got Rookie of the Year, Carmelo Anthony.
I knew it had come back up. Got a lot of votes, but
who took his team to the playoffs in the Western Conference. Mind you.
There's no denying he's a fantastic player. I'll leave it at that.
Jamison inside. 14 for Antoine Jamison.
What about the other votes, though? I mean, I saw Bruce Bowen was 4th in Defensive Player of the Year. I thought that was pretty shaky. Ron Artest, hard to argue against. He'll be a Defensive Player of the Year.
Who was ahead of Bowen? Ron Artest,
Ben Wallace, and
Theo Ratliff.
Theo Ratliff.
2:54 left here.
Messler to the rescue.
Kevin Kevin Garnett tried to become the third player in NBA history to record 3 straight 20-20 games. Coach, who are the other guys?
A guy named Wilt and a guy named Bill Russell. Wilt did it 10 times. Bill Russell did it 3 times.
Timberwolves and Nuggets coming up next. Brad?
A determined Kevin Garnett. There's something for everybody on ESPN HD. For a full schedule, log on to ESPN and search HD. As you look at the beautiful skyline of Dallas, Texas, some of the things we've got coming up in HD for you. The Pacers and the Celtics in Game 4. That'll be at 1 o'clock tomorrow. The Braves and the Marlins, Sunday Night Baseball also. In the NHL, Colorado and San Jose. That's coming up on Monday. Even the inbounds plays are for Marquise Daniels now. Wallace picks up the foul.
And Nelly talked about trying to keep him around because what since he's undrafted, he's a free agent this summer. It really would be kind of crazy for him to go anywhere else because you figure this is a perfect opportunity, a perfect system for this young ball player because Nelly, he loves those talented perimeter players that go one-on-one and create opportunities for themselves and other players. And this is the perfect coach for a young ball player a young ball player of his caliber and Josh Howard's caliber to really develop and blossom.
That's Josh Howard on your screen right now. He's got 6 points tonight. He was the draft choice out of Wake Forest, the #1 pick, though it was late in a round. The first #1 pick out of Wake since Tim Duncan. But he made the guaranteed money, the 3-year guaranteed money, whereas Daniels obviously is an undrafted free agent. Didn't have all that dough, and now he's going to become an instant millionaire. And Howard says, I'm happy. He's my boy, and he deserves a big money contract next year.
Well, he's going to make a lot of money. I guarantee that.
Here's Howard, the other rookie. Williams keeps it alive. Another offensive rebound. They just keep piling up. At this point, they don't really matter, but it's going to look great in the stat book.
And you know what else Nelly said about Marquise Daniels? The fact that he can play multiple positions. He said you can turn him loose, let him run that point spot, the 2 guard, the 3 guard, the small forward. An incredibly versatile rookie.
2 minutes exactly left as the ball's out of bounds to Dallas. Well, they played like rookies at times in the first 2 playoff games on the road, but tonight that hasn't been the case.
What I like is they bring a lot of enthusiasm and toughness for 2 rookies to come in there, and they're all over the place offensively and defensively and bring a kind of a livelihood to this team.
Yeah. They really do. They set the table defensively. They get up in people. They get after them. It's that enthusiasm.
We keep talking about them, and they keep handling the ball, either with rebounds or taking shots. Here they are, both on the right side of the court with 1:36 remaining.
Imagine keeping those 2 guys together for a lot of years.
Scott Williams will take an outside jumper. And Peeler will clear it off. And there's Josh Howard with a steal. The turnovers continue to mount. 26 turnovers suffered by Sacramento tonight.
This is one of those games where you just go in the locker room and flush it down the toilet. I mean, nothing was right for Sacramento.
Go and flush it and look for that ice you're talking about, right?
Right.
Chris Webber with 22, Mike Bibby with 22, but not enough contributed by anybody else tonight. And it was Dallas game. They knew they had to have it, and boy, they came out and took it. Jamison, 16 off the bench. Happy crowd of 19,000 plus. They will go home or on to their dinner reservations with a big smile on their face tonight. Dallas with that best home record. And if you look back since 1954, teams that had the best home record but never won a championship. And as we mentioned earlier, Dallas has never been to the finals, nor has Sacramento, even though the last 4 years they're both averaging right around between 56 and 58 wins a season.
Well, for Dallas to move on, they're going to have to go on somebody else's court and win. And They haven't proven that they can do that very often, especially in the playoff situation. So they got to bring this same kind of fire and enthusiasm and toughness to Sacramento. They got to win the next game and then go to Sacramento with the toughness. I mean, they can't rely on home court, obviously.
You know how loud Arco Arena is and how those fans get into it. The Dallas fans tonight gave the Kings a little dose of their own medicine. There's no doubt about that, as they were ready early and staying late and on their feet right now in the final 30 seconds. It'll be 2-1 Sacramento. And a game 4 will be here. Foul with 17 seconds left.
I can't believe they fouled when you two guys are next to me are waiting for your Chateaubriand. You guys are waiting to eat some steak.
We're not sharing that either. Not with you anyway.
You're right.
Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki having a smile on the sideline. 102-78. Dallas on the regular season averaged 105 points a game. We're only able to muster 79 on the road the last time these two teams got together. Antoine's mom and dad looking on. Albert and Kathy happy for their baby boy, who's the sixth man of the year awarded tonight officially, and playing like a starter here as far as scoring tonight. With 10 in the quarter and 20 for the game. Brad Miller, I guess he's not done playing. And that's not the real deal. That's for sure.
That's the one I saw on Sean's mantle at his house. What are you talking about? That's not the real thing.
They're still looking for that one Spurs trophy he's got in his house. That's why he won't have us over. He's afraid we're going to tell on him.
No, I can't have you guys over because I need to retain the value of my property.
Yeah, they don't let guys like us in this neighborhood.
That's true. There's a reason it's a gated community. Try to keep us out. Final 10 seconds.
Keep out the riffraff.
Yep. So Dallas, a resounding win. And now the party will begin in Texas tonight. 25-point defeat, the largest margin the Kings have been beaten by this season. Final score, 104-79. Don't forget, Denver and Minnesota following us. Right now for Michelle Tafoya, Dan Marley, Sean Elliott, I'm Brad Nessler. Don't forget, Timberwolves and the Nuggets are coming up. Game 3 is next. It's been a presentation of ESPN, a worldwide leader in sports. Good night from Dallas.